on page 53 of your My State notebook. It's, are we almost there? You know, that's a question that I heard from Victoria and Stephen, and it is a question that my mom and dad growing up heard from Mrs. B and her siblings quite often. Growing up, Mrs. B did a lot of road trips. My mom and dad loved to travel around the country, but they really enjoyed traveling around the state of Wisconsin, the UP of Michigan, and into Minnesota. So Mrs. B spent a lot of time in the car traveling to different destinations. What I've decided to do for page 53 is to look at the different cities and regions that we have for our Wisconsin Persuasive essay. That way, if you decide that you would like to road trip to one of these places, you already have the information as to how long would it take for us to get there and how many miles it would be. I thought it was just logical. There's going to be 2 different videos for this because we are going to look at each of the cities, and it would take too long to do all 16 at once. So there's going to be a part 1 to this video and a part 2. You will need page 53, and we're going to get started. So page 53, we're going to start at the top. And we're going to write in the city. It's always going to be Wausau. So from Wausau to whatever city we're looking at. And then the next column is miles. And then the last column is time. And you'll notice I have it in hours and minutes. So what I did, 4th graders, is I just went on Google Maps. And I put in Wausau to whatever city it was, and I picked the fastest route, not always the shortest one, okay, like by miles. I picked the fastest route because usually people will like to get to their destination. If you really like to road trip and take like back roads and you'd want to take the shortest route, you can look at that on your own. So Mrs. B picked the fastest route from Wausau to whatever city. So what you'll do is in your state notebook page, you're going to write down Wausau to Superior, and then that's 239 miles. It would take you 3 hours and 41 minutes to get there. I want to show you where this is. So this is the map that I handed out. Here is Wausau. So this is what we're going from each time. Okay, so here's Wausau on our map. And traveling from here all the way up to Superior. Now, you would think, oh, I could just go as we call it the crow flies. But if you look at, there's not really a road that goes diagonal all the way up to Superior. Your fastest route would actually to be on going on Highway 29, and then this is Highway 53, and then you'd go up to Superior. So as you can see, I'm using this as an example. It might be shorter mileage to go like on some of these back roads, but remember, these back roads are all going to be like county roads, 2-lane roads, whereas Highway 29 is a 4-lane, and so is Highway 53. Highway 53 is also interstate. So that's how I determined the mileage. I shouldn't have to explain that again, but I do want to show you where it is so that you know where you would be traveling from. So to go from Wausau to Superior, it would take you about almost 4 hours, okay, 3 hours and 41 minutes. Okay, the next city that we'll look at will be Wausau to Ashland. That is 168 miles. It would take you, look at that, 2 hours and 59 minutes. I guess if you had a lead foot, that's what I sometimes call people who drive fast, a lead foot, you could make it in less than 3 hours. But if you're traveling the speed limit and you get good traffic, it should take you about 3 hours to get to Ashland. Let me show you where Ashland is. It is just a little east from Superior. So here's Superior. Here is Ashland. The route here is that you'd go over to Highway 13 And then this is Highway 13 and would take you straight up to Ashland. Ashland is on Lake Superior. Same thing with Superior. Superior is also on Lake Superior. But Ashland is right on the big Great Lake of Lake Superior. The next city is Minocqua. I have a feeling a lot of people have been to this city. Minocqua is definitely a day trip. You can leave in the morning, you can spend all day in Minocqua doing fun things and come home that same day. It is only 67 miles away, about an hour and 15-minute drive. So Minocqua is straight up. If we were to take Highway 39 and then it turns into Highway 51, it's just straight, it's a straight shot right from Wausau up to Minocqua. And that's what we consider to be the Northwoods. Fish Creek. So Fish Creek is in what we call Door County. Let's write down the mileage. It's 117 miles away. It takes about 2.5 hours, right? 2 hours and 34 minutes to get there. This is our map where it got cut off a little bit. This whole peninsula, so this comes out like this. This is a big peninsula. If you were telling somebody where you live in Wisconsin and you use your hand to say, here's Wisconsin, I live here, this is Door County. Okay, the thumb, what sticks out, that's Door County. And Door County has one larger city. It's called Sturgeon Bay. But then north of Sturgeon Bay, it's all a bunch of little towns that extend all the way up into Lake Michigan. So Fish Creek is 117 miles away, but once you get past Sturgeon Bay, all of the roads, there is not one other road after that that is 4-lane. It is all 2-lane, like little county type roads. But it is a beautiful and fun drive to make. So that's Fish Creek. Green Bay. So Green Bay, most of us have probably been there. I bet a lot of us have been there. It's 84 miles away. It takes about 1 hour and 31 minutes, so about an hour and a half. And Green Bay, if you remember, is our oldest city. And from Wausau, it is a straight shot again on 29. So this is Highway 29 that Mrs. B is following with her pencil. And then here is Green Bay. So you could drive from Wausau to Green Bay. It would take you about 1.5 hours. So again, this is a very easy day trip. You could leave early in the morning, spend all day at Green Bay, and come back the same day. A really nice road trip. So now what you're going to need to do is you're going to flip over your paper and you're going to create a grid. And on that grid, you're just going to put from Wausau each time to whatever city we are going to write in, and then you'll put miles and time. If you would like to pause the video right now and just make several to froms, you can, or you can just do it one at a time as Mrs. B goes through this. So let's look at Wausau to Sheboygan. Wausau to Sheboygan is 124 miles. It would take you 2 hours and 22 minutes. Let me show you where Sheboygan is. Sheboygan is on the shores way down here of Lake Michigan. So to get there, you would take Highway 29, and then once you get to Green Bay, you continue to travel east. And there are roads that will take you along Lake Michigan. It's a beautiful, beautiful drive. And so you can go right along Lake Michigan through Manitowoc, and you end up in the town of Sheboygan. The next city is Appleton. And Appleton is only 75 miles away. It's about 1 hour and 38 minutes. So again, it's about the same distance as Green Bay. So it is a very easy day trip. You could drive to Appleton, and Appleton is right here on our map. Let me put this up here so you can see it better. So Appleton is right here, circled right here. And the fastest way to get to Appleton is you travel down to Stevens Point, and then there's a highway called Highway 10, and Highway 10 will take you right into Appleton. Really nice things to see there. So that's another road trip you could take in a day. The next city we're going to look at is Oshkosh. Oshkosh is 81 miles away. Look at that, it's the same time distance, even though it's a little bit further to Appleton. And the reason why, I'm going to show you this because we're going to look at some logic, right? This is logical. How can it be further in distance, miles-wise, but still be the same time? It's because of the roads that you would take. To get to Appleton, you have to go through some parts of the city. And if you know anything about driving, when you have to drive through cities, it takes longer. So Appleton is just a little bit more into the city area. Whereas Oshkosh, you would take the same route. You'd come down to Stevens Point, take Highway 10 over, and then you would get on a highway called Highway 41. And Highway 41 is a big interstate, and Oshkosh is just right off the interstate. So Oshkosh is another place that you could visit that would be an easy day trip. You could go there and back in one day. And I think Everett has this town, right, Everett? And there is a really cool thing that happens in the summer that I hope Everett will research. It's about airplanes, and that it's something that Mrs. B has actually done. I've driven to Oshkosh and gone to this big festival that they have there and back. There's another festival near Oshkosh for Christians. So Everett, I don't know if that's going to be in which one though. If that's going to be in Appleton or if that's going to be in Oshkosh. You guys will have to look at that. But there's a Christian festival that takes place in July. Again, you could drive down for the day because when you look at the mileage and you look at how long it takes you, it really does not take you very long. 1.5 hours. That's an easy day trip. So what I'm going to do right now, fourth graders, is I'm going to stop the video right here, and then I will start a new video, and you're just going to make the next city. It's going to be Milwaukee. So if you'd like to write that in and write your next line, you could write from Wausau to Milwaukee, and then we'll fill in that information. So bye for right now, and I'll see you in a little bit.